The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa, Section 314. I'd like to develop a code of inertia for superior souls in modern societies. Society would govern itself spontaneously if it didn't contain sensitive and intelligent people. You can be sure that they're the only thing that hinders it. Primitive societies were happy because they didn't have such people. Unfortunately, superior souls would die if expelled from society because they don't know how to work. And without any stupid blanks between them, perhaps they would die of boredom. But my concern here is with overall human happiness. Each superior soul who appeared in society would be exiled to the island of the superiors. The superiors would be fed, like animals in cages, by normal society. Believe me, if there were no intelligent people to point out humanity's various woes, humanity wouldn't even notice them. And sensitive people who suffer cause the rest to suffer, by association. For the time being, since we live in society, our one duty as superiors is to reduce to a minimum our participation in the life of the tribe. We shouldn't read newspapers, for example, or should read them only to find out what anecdotal and unimportant things are happening. You can't imagine the delight I get from the provincial news roundup. The very names make doors to the indefinite open up in me. The highest honor for superior man is to not know the name of his country's chief of state, or whether he lives under a monarchy or a republic. He should be careful to position his soul in such a way that passing things and events can't disturb him. Otherwise, he'll have to take an interest in others in order to look out for himself. Section 315. There's an aesthetics to wasting time. For those who cultivate sensations, there's an unwritten handbook on inertia, with recipes for all the forms of lucidity. To develop the right strategy for fighting against the notion of social mores, against the impulses of our instincts, and against the solicitations of sentiment, requires a study that not every aesthete is prepared to undertake. A rigorous etiology of our scruples should be followed by an ironic diagnosis of our concessions to normality. We must also learn how to ward off life's intrusions. A caution is necessary to make us impervious to outside opinions, and a velvety indifference to insulate our soul against the invisible blows of coexisting with others. Section 316. A life of aesthetic quietism to prevent the insults and humiliations of life and the living from getting any closer than a loathsome periphery of our sensibility, outside the walls of our conscious soul. All of us, in some part or other, are loathsome. We all harbor a crime we've committed, or a crime our soul is begging us to commit. Section 317. One of my constant preoccupations is to understand how other people can exist, how there can be souls that aren't mine, consciousnesses that have nothing to do with my own, which, because it's a consciousness, seems to me like the only one. I accept that the man standing before me, who speaks with words like mine and gesticulates as I do or could do, is in some sense my fellow creature, but so are the figures from illustrations that fill my imagination, the characters I meet in novels, and the dramatic personae that move on stage through the actors who represent them. No one, I suppose, genuinely admits the real existence of another person. We may concede that the person is alive and that he thinks and feels as we do, but there will always be an unnamed element of difference, a materialized inequality. There are figures from the past and living images from books that are more real to us than the incarnate indifferences that talk to us over shop counters, or happen to glance at us in the trams, or brush against us in the dead happenstance of the streets. Most people are no more for us than scenery. Generally, the invisible scenery of a street we know by heart. I feel more kinship and intimacy with certain characters described in books and certain images I've seen in prints than I feel with many so-called real people who are of the metaphysical insignificance known as flesh and blood. And flesh and blood, in fact, describes them rather well. They're like chunks of meat displayed in the window of a butcher's, dead things bleeding as if they were alive, shanks and cutlets of destiny. I'm not ashamed of feeling this way. As I've discovered, that's how everyone feels. What seems to lie behind people's mutual contempt and indifference, such that they can kill each other like assassins who don't really feel they're killing, or like soldiers who don't think about what they're doing, is that no one pays heed to the apparently abstruse fact that other people are also living souls. On certain days and certain moments, brought to me by I don't know what breeze, and opened to me by the opening of I don't know what door, I suddenly feel that the corner grocer is a thinking entity, that his assistant, who at this moment is bent over a sack of potatoes next to the entrance, is truly a soul, capable of suffering. When I was told yesterday that the employee of the tobacco shop had committed suicide, it seemed like a lie. Poor man. He also existed. We had forgotten this, all of us, all who knew him in the same way as all those who never met him. Tomorrow we'll forget him even better, but he evidently had a soul, for he killed himself. Passion, anxiety, no doubt, but for me, as for all humanity, there's only the memory of a dumb smile and a shabby sports coat that hung unevenly from the shoulders. That's all that remains to me of this man, who felt so much that he killed himself for feeling, since what else does one kill himself for? Once, as I was buying cigarettes from him, it occurred to me that he would go bald early. As it turns out, he didn't have time enough to go bald. That's one of the memories I have of him. What other one can I have, if even this one is not of him, but of one of my thoughts? I suddenly see his corpse, the coffin where they placed him, the so alien grave where they must have lowered him, and it dawns on me that the cashier of the tobacco shop, with crooked coat and all, was in a certain way the whole of humanity. It was only a flash. What's clear to me now, today, as the human being I am, is that he died. That's all. No, others don't exist. It's for me that this heavy-winged sunset lingers, its colors hard and hazy. It's for me that the great river shimmers below the sunset, even if I can't see it flow. It's for me that this square was built overlooking the river, whose waters are now rising. Was the cashier of the tobacco shop buried today in the common grave? Then the sun isn't setting for him today. But because I think this, and against my will, it has also stopped setting for me. Section 318. Ships passing in the night that neither signal nor recognize each other.